vacation. She's shivering. Good morning. Welcome back to Sage and Stone Homestead. My name is Heather. We are one day away from the winter weather that is coming our way, and it's going to really probably wreak a decent amount of havoc across the country, and fingers crossed we have minimal damage here. We keep waffling back and forth between we're getting a lot of snow to we're getting a lot of ice. We're kind of on that line where there's like a sleet transition, and I haven't seen the latest report as of today. Weather gets a lot more predictable the closer to the event that you get, and so who knows. I'm putting some bread in the oven today. This is not unusual. I make bread for my family at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. But my son Bentley and I yesterday, we had a baking marathon to prepare for the weather, because I'm going into this just expecting for us to lose power. In certain areas, they have told people to expect to lose power for 5 days or more. So that's what we've done. These here are the sourdough sandwich loaves that I like to make. And then yesterday we also put together a double batch of hamburger buns. We use these for all sorts of different sandwiches and things. Made some cornbread. Actually made 2 of these, and one of them we had with dinner, so there's a little bit left over. But we've got that. And 2 loaves of banana bread with chocolate chips. Now, homemade bread doesn't last as long as store-bought bread. There's just not as many things in it to help prevent mold and things, and that's good. We don't really want to be eating those things constantly. So these breads, very likely I'm either going to stick outside in a bin to make sure critters don't get to it. It's going to be freezer temp anyway, or I'm going to make space in one of our freezers so that when we want to use them, we just will be able to pull them out, let them thaw, and eat them without having to have power. One thing that I really need to focus on working on today are some mushrooms. So I can see here with my filter patch that I might be a little bit late in getting these chestnut mushrooms out of the bin. I noticed yesterday that they looked like they were at the right stage for harvesting. Ideally, you're harvesting your mushrooms before they throw spores, but I wanted to do it on camera, so they spored overnight. Aren't they gorgeous? Oh my goodness. I also have pink oysters in here, and we may process these as well. The pink oysters require a lot of warmth and a nice stable environment, and if I lose power, I'm gonna lose both of those things. So I think we'll pull these as well. They're so awesome. Growing mushrooms has been really, really rewarding. I also had these growing out in my shed. This here is a lion's mane mushroom. And then these are black king. Huge. And they're also a little bit late on being harvested, but that's okay. With a lot of mushroom species, the ideal time to harvest is when they're still kind of capped over. A lot of mushrooms grow in different ways, but many mushrooms have a cap that kind of rounds itself over, and once it starts to lengthen out and flatten out, like this one here, versus this one, which has a little bit more of the ideal shape, this is when you know they're starting to drop spores. It's not going to hurt you. It's just a different texture, and the nutritional quality is a little bit different. So you can see how this one is a little bit more flat, while some of these down here are a little bit more cupped over. These were a lot more cupped over yesterday, and I should have harvested them, but it's not a problem. Lion's mane obviously doesn't have the same look. These, it more goes on the color of the mushroom. Once it kind of starts to turn from a bright white to a little bit dingy, that's when I take them off. Normally when I harvest mushrooms, I'll pull them off, I'll stick them in a loosely tied like grocery bag, plastic bag from the store, and put them in the fridge until I'm ready to use them. Usually I want to use them within a week, but because we don't know what we're getting into as far as the weather goes and power outages, I don't really want to do that. I don't know if I'm really going to be easily able to cook them. And so what I'm going to choose to do today is actually boil all of these. I'm going to mix them all up and can them. I have canned mushrooms before, and that way if I want to use them this week, I can. They're already cooked. But then if I don't get to them this week, it's fine. They will store best in cans. So that's what we're going to do. have the laundries in the dryer. Make sure I got a load of laundry done, and look how pretty the mushrooms came out. The pinks lost a little bit of color as they cooked, but lovely. So this one, the top actually blew off in the middle of canning. I think I need to replace my canning rings. The rings are popping off at the cool down process, and I think that's just, you know, the pressure inside the jar that's supposed to force air out, it does so, but it's too much for my older rings. Sometimes when they get a little bit rusty on the inside, they need replacing. I also canned up some of the mushroom stock. When I've made mushrooms or canned mushrooms and made stock before, it has been a little bit darker, but I had some different varieties this time, but it's still lovely, and there's some extra mushrooms that made their way in there, and that's fine too. Mainly what I use this for is in my rice cooker to make rice. Lovely flavor. So yeah, that's that. We're on to the next project, which is outside, so I've got my hat on. Okay, so in the last few hours there has been an update as far as the weather. The wind is blowing from the north and the temperatures are already going down. The feels like temp tonight is going to be 0. So, but starting tomorrow, we're going to be seeing snowfall at the rate of 1 to 2 inches per hour. And then after that comes like a sleet band and then freezing rain. The main thing that I'm worried about as far as the farm goes is the freezing rain. When that happens, we sometimes can't open up gates very easily. I talked in the last video about how sometimes the hose spigots, even though they're freeze free, if I don't remember to put a bucket on top of those, the ice will settle on them and make it really hard or impossible to open. And one thing I am worried about are the rabbits that we just put out in these ground hutches here. I'm gonna be putting these rabbits, there's 2 of them, up in cages so they can be up off the ground. And I'm also going to be moving, oh, see that wind? Woo! And I'm also going to be moving our grow out rabbits that we have here into the barn because I'm worried that their cages are gonna get iced shut. I thought about draping a tarp over them, and I would do that if I didn't have the space to put them in the barn, which I do. Hey sir, it's coming. You gonna come inside when it gets real cold? Yeah, he's allowed to, but he doesn't always want to. Did we forget your TREAT? Shameful, we gotta fix that. Oh, broken, sorry. These rabbits are actually getting pretty big. They're close to processing time. You're okay, I know. I'm also gonna pull these rubber bowls out of the crates just in case we happen to want to use these for anything. I don't want them to be stuck in there. They're packed, but it's a short ride. Alright, there's 2 open cages here, and then because I processed dumpling yesterday, we have an open cage here. Boy Fabi, he's gonna come back in the barn during the storm. Oh. Sir. Well, I was gonna show him to you, but I don't think he likes flying. He doesn't like being up in the air. Like, I got everything in the barn closed up, but you can feel a breeze on your face standing in the milking room coming from the north. Like it's hitting the north wall, scooping up, and then coming in. And so I think we need to plan for snow hitting in here, in the new rabbit tree.
Pulled up at the gas station.
Oh, can you see any propane tanks at the gas station?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but they might be empties that people have brought back.
Yeah, but they could fill it.
There's a whole bunch upside down. Not looking good. I think they're all empty, and I don't know that they have a filler. But anyway, I'm gonna run in and ask.
Okay. So as I'm sure you heard me say to my husband, I'm feeling quite the breeze inside this barn. This area of the barn where the bunnies are and where our hay is this is its first year in use. And so we're going to be working through some hiccups in the design as we experience this unusual weather. We have an overhang. There's a sloped roof. Let me just back up. For those of you that are not familiar with the way that this looks, this whole white part is new. The roof slopes and we've got this overhang that is open. This is for airflow. This is so important for us most of the year because way more than the cold, we deal with heat, and we need this kind of airflow inside of our barn. But this is the north wall, and cold wind at our area comes from the north, and it's hitting the wall, and it feels like from the inside it's scooping up and blowing inside, because I can stand right here with the garage door shut and the hay blocking here, and I can feel a good breeze on my face, and it's coming from up there. So Levi's gonna temporarily tack up some wood on that side to help prevent snow blowing in here. And you know, the least amount of super cold air blowing on the bunnies is probably good. And blowing in here on these goats. Hey girls. Everything is good in here. There's Molly. I'm nervous because she's starting to get more talkative. Blue Cactus Molly is due to give birth on the 28th. I texted Crystal. She told me that when she delivered at her place, she did make it to the full 145 days. We are crossing our fingers that she does that for us here, but she could kid this weekend, easily. She could kid anywhere from day 140 to about day 150, sometimes 155, but that's stretching it. But the last couple days, it looks kind of like she's dropped and she's more talkative, and those can be signs of impending labor. So I have a hawk's eye on her. When Molly lived at Breezy Willow Acres, which was her home in between Blue Cactus and here, she kidded outside in the cold. And that's just because they felt her ligaments at night, and they could feel that they were there. And in the morning there was babies on the ground. Sometimes that happens. Girl, you're making me nervous. You're making me nervous, I know. So I've been putting her up on the stand so that I can get a real good feel of her every day. I still feel Liggy's in here. Her udder has a ton of give and room to grow. So I have hope. You're just doing a lot of talking. It's making me nervous. I did put a freeze miser in here, and it is currently doing a decent stream of water. The girls are drinking out of this bucket. And the way this works is it's going to drain out the back, and it'll go under this wall where Margie is and out towards the wallow. We may have some pooling back here. We're just gonna have to see. But I'm thinking that if I have that as the only source of water for them, there's going to be essentially a constant drip for the next week. And if they keep drinking out of it, there'll probably be very minimal overflow. And then I can use the heated bucket for any goats, namely Molly, who will be in the kidding stall. I don't know, that's the rough plan. I'll show you what the freeze miser looks like over by the boys too.
We need a bigger wagon.
I know, this wagon actually was smaller than I thought it was. You feel like 2 of those.
This one is heavy, the fine flake.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know, probably not twice as heavy as those ones, but it's a lot heavier.
Wow. All right, I guess we're making trips.
I mean, it was going to be trips regardless, but yeah, that's kind of silly.
Oh, where'd the camera go?
It's right behind the thing.
It just fell?
Just fell off.
Okay. Wow. Sorry. Thank you.
Can't feel my fingers.
making such a mess of the chicken coop. Once they can figure out where to get fresh water and food, they'll live there and they will eat all your feed and make such a mess of your waters. I didn't want to fully close up the chickens, but I feel like I have to, or the starlings are just gonna make things so much worse. You guys don't want to come out anyway, do you? I'm gonna feed you in your house today. I'll feed you inside. Boys. Idea. Okay. I know, sweet girl. We're coming. I took the freeze miser off of the spigot out here, and I'm glad I did. I had a couple comments from people who live in much colder places than where I live, and they said that it's not good for a pool of water to build up around a freeze-free hydrant. I'm not exactly sure what happens to it, but whatever it is, I didn't want to risk it. So hopefully the like 40 hours or so of dripping that did happen over there, hopefully that isn't going to cause problems. Hi, handsome. Are you having a good time? Yeah. He's got free access to the barn, but footprints don't lie. He hasn't tried to come in here. Hi guys. Got some snow blowing in here. All of the buildings that we've put in on our farm are open to the east, and that's because 99% of the time when we have storms, the wind doesn't blow from the east. This storm, the wind is blowing from like all directions. So we are getting a little bit more breeze and snow coming in here than I hoped for. So far it hasn't made its way to the hay, and it definitely hasn't been coming up over here and getting on any of this stuff, all the feed and things. But look at it. Hey guys, how are you? Oh good. There wasn't any real ice buildup on my water. That's awesome. Better eat this before the starlings get it. Got snow blowing in here. Hey miss, is this a lot? Snow is blowing in here, and then this is the south side, which yeah, there's a little bit, but I think that's just coming through the slats of the barn. This is not for you. Back here, girl. There you go. You guys, it's empty. You're welcome. I do have the freeze miser hooked up over here still. The girls are drinking out of this bucket. See, this is all starlings. The starlings have been very active in the barn. But see, that's running there. And so far it doesn't look like it's draining out here. And as far as I've been able to tell, it's not draining over here into where Chloe is. And it's not wet right here. So I don't know where it's really draining to. The only thing I can think of is there used to be a trough here, and the trough over time got pretty buried, and so we pulled it out and we were backfilling the hole with barn clean out and things, and so it's like a looser dirt. It's not actually packed. So I'm guessing it's draining down into there, but it's not up to the surface. We're not getting dampness inside the barn. So that's interesting. For now, we're leaving it, but the starlings are so disgusting. There's really not a lot I can do to cover like the goats' waters and things. I'm just gonna have to clean them. Anything that I put over the waters, the goats are going to mess with, and so it really limits my options. I don't think you want to go out there. No, that's what I thought. Wow, Frenzy, that was a good chug. Oh my goodness. And like I mentioned yesterday, they may be drinking out of it frequently enough where it's really not wasting a whole lot. There's definitely some overflow, but as of right now, I don't know where the overflow is going. And how's Molly doing? Let me take off my glove. Still got leggies. Still got plenty of room in her udder. I would bet she's having a single doeing. But because of this situation with the snow, the goats are spending a lot of time back here, which is great. There is quite a lot of wind block over here. And so what I'm thinking is Molly is definitely going to go into labor and have her babies when we're below freezing. And so we might not be in the middle of the snowstorm or the ice storm when she kids, but the goats could still need a little bit more space. They lost some space to the snow, so we may have Molly kidding in the milking area, which this is totally fine. I can take out a milk stand and clean up my shelf a little bit. We have to do some rearranging of stuff, but we can do it, and we probably will. Hey, Sausage. Need some more water. These bunnies we put over here yesterday, this is actually Sausage's last litter. They're huge. Also in need of water. All right, people who live in colder climates, where it's cold like this most of the time, how come my hands are warmer after I take my gloves off? I'm still outside, and we've got frozen water up here, and my hands were freezing. I took my gloves off so that I could mess with the feed bag in there, and my hands are warming up. Why is that? These are what I have. They're waterproof, and then they have this knit on the inside. I really like these. I just don't understand why my hands were so cold with them on. But I'm putting them back on because I need to go get water and cans for these guys. If it matters which stand the goats go to when they come up to milk, because Winnie sometimes tries to come up here, but I like to milk her over here for a couple reasons. Just keeping them on the same stand and in the same routine is really helpful, because some goats, I don't know if Winnie would be like this, but some goats are so picky and particular because they are such creatures of habit that if you milk them from the wrong side, it doesn't go well. They get to kicking and just being ornery. So if I can keep them as consistent as possible, that's helpful for me and keeping their routine. Also, what I like to do, the reason I have two stands anyway, is because a lot of goats milk out pretty fast. Sometimes they milk faster than they can eat, and they still need to eat. So I can allow the goat who's on the stand, this stand, enough time to finish her breakfast even if she is done milking, and I can move on to milking the next goat and alternate, and the time that I spend down in the milking barn doing the milking chore is reduced because I'm not just sitting here waiting for her to finish, or I'm not feeling rushed and pulling her off her feed early. You're such a good girl, Margie. Today the girls came up on the stand in the order that they're supposed to. And so today the plan worked as it should. Christine, that first goat that I brought up here, the big brown La Mancha, she can be kind of ornery. She came from an abusive home, and sometimes, I don't know what triggers her, she gets scared of me and she won't come. And so I don't chase her because I don't want to scare her worse. She's not at the point of lactation where I really need to be grabbing her. She actually has been in milk for 2 years, and she's still currently nursing Frenzy. Frenzy is her granddaughter, and so I know that Frenzy will keep her drained, and if she doesn't, it's not a big deal. But Christine has figured out that if I'm not going to chase her, that means she's not going to get cookies. And so she has been coming up on the stand, which is good. That's what the cookies are for, a reward. Good girl, Winnie. Winnie's very full today. I know, we'll get you too, Molly. Oh, be nice to her. I haven't been feeding grain out to the girl barn since I started feeding the free choice alfalfa. They've got the free choice alfalfa pellets, and they have a free choice orchard grass hay, and that should be nutritionally balanced for them. A lot of them are pregnant, and the ones that are milking are getting grain on the stand. I want to make sure Molly's rumen is adjusting to getting grain because she's going to be in milk very soon. So I have been putting her up on the stand not only to get her used to the routine for milking time, but to help adjust her rumen because grain is more acidic than grasses and things like alfalfa. Look at these needy boys back here. Yeah. As if you boys aren't spoiled enough. You're too spunky. They already had some, but it's too cute. You guys. Oh my goodness. Spunky, put your head through, honey. Now she's done. She's not a fiend for them. She likes them, but here. Where are you going? Good girl. Good girl. She's so pretty. Lots of depth. Let's see. We are lacking in the udder department, and with the lineage that she has, I know she's got room to grow. So while I'm slightly concerned about her delivering in the cold, I know it's not going to be like today or anything. I'm getting some grub. So far this storm isn't a big deal yet. Here in southwestern Kentucky. The ice is supposed to come tonight, and that is when I expect that we will lose power. What I am going to do is upload this video just to get it out there so that you guys can see how we're doing so far. I'm nervous about losing power and then having a longer vlog to upload. I could probably do it, but it would take my mobile internet like probably 10 hours to get it loaded. So I might as well take advantage of the internet while we have it. I appreciate all of the emails and comments of concern. Things are going well here, and I hope things are going well wherever you are too. Hey girl, you wanna try this cookie? It's an animal cracker.